Hi, Steve Schlegel here. I wanted to share with you a little trap that I don't want you to fall into, and it has to do with LLCs. A lot of people like to form an LLC for their business, and many times they want to save some money and do it themselves, so they avoid the attorney. They go online and download the forms or complete the forms online to file the articles of organization with the state that they're in. And then they think they've got an LLC and everything's done. What I want you to remember is that does not complete your obligations or requirements for creating an LLC. It simply notifies the state that you have created or tried to create an LLC with a particular name, and the state attempts to protect that name for you. But what happens is the document that's missing is called an operating agreement, and an operating agreement is critically important because the operating agreement defines who the owners of the LLC are, how it's going to be managed, who's in charge, if you will, and what their responsibilities and obligations are, and how it's going to be taxed. And there are certain requirements that need to be there. So if you think about it, if you just file your articles of organization with the state and don't do an operating agreement, which by the way doesn't get filed with the state, it's something that you just hang on to and keep in your file, should you ever be sued, you're going to find that that liability protection or that liability shield is pretty much worthless because you haven't identified legally who the owners are and how the management works and so forth. So an attorney will have a field day with you when they sue you. Or if the IRS audits you, you don't have a document that discusses how you're going to be taxed. You can be taxed as an S corporation or as a partnership, but not only do you have to file some paperwork with the IRS to determine which that's going to be, but your operating agreement also needs to talk about that. So in order to protect yourself in the event of an audit or a lawsuit, you really need to take that extra step. And many times you do need to, unfortunately, get an attorney involved to prepare that operating agreement. I'm sure you can find some forms online, but there's a real benefit to having a professional help you. So be sure that you don't fall into that trap. And if you're trying to do some of the work yourself, you need to be sure that you get that operating agreement done too.